Welcome to English Echo Stories. Today we'll follow Santiago, an old fisherman, on his epic struggle with the sea and a great fish. Let's begin the story. Santiago and the Boy. Santiago was an old fisherman who lived in a small village by the sea. His skin was burned dark from the sun, and his hands were marked with deep lines from ropes and salt. Though his body was thin and tired, his eyes still shone with quiet strength. For 84 days he had gone out to fish, and for 84 days he had returned with nothing. The other fishermen began to call him unlucky. Some even laughed, but Santiago stayed calm. He was patient, and he still carried hope in his heart. There was a boy named Manilon who loved him like a grandfather. The boy had once fished with Santiago, but now his parents made him work on another boat, one that brought home fish. Even so, every evening Manolin came to help the old man. He carried nets, brought food, and sat with him to talk. The boy believed in Santiago more than anyone. "You are the greatest fisherman," Manolin said. "One day you will catch a big fish again." At night, Santiago returned to his simple shack, where his bed was made of newspapers and old blankets. Yet when he slept, he dreamed not of failure or hunger, but of lions. He saw them on the beaches of Africa, running and playing like young cats, full of power and life. Those dreams gave him courage. The journey into the sea. On the 85th morning, Santiago rose before sunrise. He looked at the sea and told himself, "Today I will go far out, farther than the others. Out there, I will find my fish." The boy helped him prepare. Together they carried the mast, the patched sail, and the long coils of line. The sail was worn and full of holes, but Santiago's spirit was not. With a quiet smile, he pushed his boat into the water. The boy whispered, "Good luck, old man." Santiago lifted the oars and rowed into the calm, shining sea. The morning air was fresh, and the water shone like glass. Santiago loved the sea deeply. To him, it was not an enemy, but a companion, sometimes gentle, sometimes wild. As he rowed, he watched the birds circling above and studied the movements of the waves. Every detail told him a story. Santiago read the sea the way others read a book, and he trusted it to guide him. The great fish. By noon, one of his lines sank deep. Suddenly, a powerful pull shook the boat. Santiago's heart raced. "A big one," he whispered, tightening the rope with both hands. The fish pulled with such strength that the boat began to drift farther and farther into the open sea. The line cut into his hands and the sun burned on his back, but his face glowed with joy. "This is the fish I have been waiting for," he said softly. Hour after hour, the struggle continued. Day turned to night, and the line stayed tight. Santiago's muscles trembled, but he would not give in. He spoke to the fish with respect. "Fish, I love you and admire your strength, but I cannot let you go." The stars shone above him, silent witnesses to the battle. His arms ached, his back burned, but in his heart he felt alive. He thought of the boy. He thought of the lions. And he whispered, "I must endure. I must show what I am made of," as the hours stretched into 2 long days and nights. The old man felt an even deeper respect for the creature he fought. "You are my brother," he told the fish, "but I must kill you, for that is the way of the sea." Old man and great fish, bound together by rope, by struggle, and by destiny. The final struggle. After 2 long days and nights, Santiago's arms ached, his back burned, and his hands were raw and bleeding from the rope. Yet still, he did not let go. The fish was enormous, a creature of strength and beauty, and Santiago felt a deep respect for it. He whispered softly, "You are my brother fish. We are the same, fighting to survive. But I must win, for this is my life." The line pulled the small boat farther into the open sea. Santiago felt the rhythm of the fish's movements, and he adjusted his own strength, his breathing, and his grip. The struggle was no longer just about fish or food. It was a test of courage, patience, and endurance. As the sun rose and fell again, Santiago's mind drifted to memories of lions on African beaches, of the boy who believed in him, of his long life at sea. Each memory gave him courage. He whispered encouragement to himself. "Hold on, old man. You can do this." The victory, finally at the moment when Santiago's body could bear no more, the fish tired. Its great strength slowly diminished, and the old man seized the chance. With all the energy he had left, he pulled the fish close to the boat. He admired it for a moment, feeling awe at its size and beauty. Then he did what had to be done. Santiago killed the fish with a harpoon, careful and respectful. The marlin was so large that it lifted the small boat as it fell, and Santiago felt both triumph and sorrow. He had won, but the victory was bittersweet. The sea, the fish, and the struggle had changed him. He was tired, beaten in body, but proud in spirit. The journey home. Santiago tied the fish to the side of his boat and began the long journey back to the village. The sun was hot and the waves were higher now. As he rowed, sharks began to circle, attracted by the scent of the marlin. Santiago fought them off with all the strength he had, using a harpoon, oar, and whatever he could find. One by one, the sharks attacked, and one by one, he fought them off. But more and more came, and the battle seemed endless. By the time Santiago reached the shore, the marlin was mostly gone, eaten by the sharks. Only the skeleton remained, a silent monument to his struggle. Santiago pulled the empty boat onto the sand and lay down, exhausted, his body aching but his spirit still unbroken. The return. Manolin ran to him immediately. The boy had heard of Santiago's adventure and feared the worst. He helped the old man into the small shack, brought him food, and tended to his wounds. Santiago looked at the marlin's skeleton tied to the boat and smiled faintly. "The fish was bigger than any I have seen," he said. "It was a great battle, but the sea will always have its challenges, and so must we." Manolin listened quietly. He understood more than words could say. The boy had learned courage, patience, and respect from the old man's journey. Even though the fish was gone, Santiago's story would live in their hearts forever. The lesson of the sea. Santiago rested in his small shack. His body ached, his hands were sore, and his back was stiff from the long struggle. Yet in his heart he felt calm and proud. The battle with the great fish had tested him like nothing before. It had shown him the limits of his strength, the depth of his patience, and the courage within his spirit. He looked out at the sea, calm and endless, and whispered, "The sea is full of challenges, but it is also full of beauty. Life is the same. We fight, we struggle, and even if we lose, we learn and grow." Manolin stayed with him, helping him recover and listening to every story. He learned more than just fishing. He learned about respect, determination, and the silent power of hope. The boy understood that courage was not measured by what you catch, but by how you face life's challenges. Even though the marlin was gone, its spirit remained. Santiago knew that every struggle, every battle, and every challenge carried a lesson. He had faced fear, pain, and exhaustion, yet he had endured. Santiago dreamed again of lions on the African beaches. They ran and played, strong and free. He felt young again, not in body but in spirit. He understood now that life, like the sea, was a constant struggle, but one worth facing. And so the old man slept, tired but content, with hope in his heart and the knowledge that he had lived fully, bravely, and with honor. Thank you for listening to the story of Santiago, the old man who faced the sea and a mighty fish with courage and determination. Remember, life is full of challenges, and sometimes the journey itself teaches us more than the prize we seek. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to English Echo Stories for more inspiring tales. See you in the next story.